Hey guys, I'm the Thoughtful Beast, and today we are talking about one of my least favorite things to talk about, which is politics and my experience basically and how I deal with it. So, okay, we might as well start talking. So, I do not like talking about politics. I I am averse to it because usually when people talk about politics, it turns into arguing and it turns into fighting, and I am averse to that. I am averse myself to arguing with people. Um I don't like being yelled at. That can be a trigger for me when people get aggressive and loud. Um yeah, I don't like it. And I know not everyone talks about politics like that. I am very aware of that, but it's just very difficult. It's a lot. It's a lot for me to deal with. I already have depression and anxiety, so I'm already kind of anxious and prone to that. And depression, like I'm practicing being an optimist, but I'm not. So I end up just being really like disillusioned and disheartened. And I have to set hard boundaries with people. My boyfriend loves talking about politics. My roommates love talking about politics too, and that's great, and that's their life, and they're super into it, and I'm glad they can talk to each other, especially like my boyfriend now has people to talk to. That's not me, because I'm just like, oh, I can't. So I have to set hard boundaries because, one, I know like I don't want to be a hermit. I am able enough to listen to some things. I'm able enough to vote. I can do that. I can look at issues. I just can't have it around me like 24/7 because it is a lot. It is not what I'm going to talk about in my free time because it's a lot. It's a lot for me. It's a lot of negativity, unfortunately. Whew. Expose yourself when you can, and then set hard limits. My boyfriend is used to me going, okay, I can't listen to anymore, and he's very respectful of that. And, when my roommates and my boyfriend are talking about politics all the time and stuff, like, when I can listen and when I want to be part of the conversation, they're really, like, great with that. And then if it's too much for me, I leave. I just leave the room and I watch something. I watch The Office in my room, and that's totally fine. I don't try to make a big stink about it. Just silently excuse myself. Those are, like, the tips I was talking about. Definitely, I feel like Hassan Minaj's like tip of like focus on one or two things is definitely like my take, because I am not doing my mental health favors by worrying about everything. So there's a couple things that I really focus on. Obviously, one of them being mental health and being more aware about that. People like to be in politics because they see it as, it does shape the world. Politics shapes the world, right? And people want their hand in it. They want to help make a better future, and that's great. And so being involved, being well read in politics, I think can be a really good thing if you can do that. I like to shape the world in another way, which is focus on like my small community in front of me. And things I can do there. Like this, literally me doing this channel is one of them, right? Like this is one way that I can try to help. It's one way that feels good to me. It's one way, it's a way that feels like actually very authentic to me because I'm speaking from my experience. So I feel good about it, and I feel obviously more comfortable with it. I just try to focus on my own little community, whether that's my mental health community, whether that's like my dance community or my film community, like really trying to figure out progression there and how to make things better in like this smaller environment, because that's just what I can handle. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It's what I can do. And again, I think it's very important to vote. I think it's very important to vote. I always vote. And you don't, if you didn't know this, I think for all of us, but maybe at least for most of us, like if you don't want to go to like a place, a voting place, I can't think of the word, there are mail-in ballots. You can like get a ballot to mail, and it's great. You don't have to talk to anybody. So my friends who like really don't want to go out there and be face to face with people but still want to vote, like that's an option for you. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. And yeah, that's like That's great. Yes, ideally we want to be well read on all of the issues and all of the candidates and da 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 da. But even if, again, if you want to only focus like on a couple things, like say you want to focus on your congressman and the president, like that's okay too. You can leave the other things blank. It's fine. You know, don't let, you get to have your sort of voice and you get to choose. And you know, this is all private and stuff, so people can't shame you. They shouldn't be shaming you anyways. So yeah, that's kind of how I deal with politics. I definitely limit my exposure. It's hard. Like, listening to unbiased things is hard because I don't even know if that exists anymore. But definitely, you know, for me, it's very much being aware of like, just being aware of why certain news places might say certain things, especially because like news is kind of like a business now, and being aware of that, and also being aware that they like to say things in the scariest way possible and like not necessarily the most truthful way. And that's everyone. That is not like a side. That is just like most news outlets, because again, they're businesses. It's less about journalism now. So just being aware of that also helps me out and helps me just to kind of calm down and know like, oh, all this information is going to be presented to me like this because they want to get me riled up. So I just have to know that so I can calm myself down. And I think that's something really important to note. And I think that's it for now. You know, being in politics, being involved in politics, being in the know, I think is important. But also, you know, when you have a mental illness and like you're just focused on you, like that's okay. You need to live. Like that has to come first. And it kind of has to be cultural, societal responsibility that we need to take, where it's like we need to take care of each other. And the people who can do, right? Like I'm well enough to vote, so I'm going to vote, and I'm going to try to vote for things that make it easier to access mental health, you know, things like that. So we got to depend on each other that way and really be there for each other, especially knowing that some of us can't. And we have to let that be okay because, you know, again, some of us are just dealing with surviving. Yeah, that's all I really want to say for now. Until next time, make sure you are creating your own happiness in your life, whether that means you're going to look at how politics exists in your life and, you know, maybe change it, or whether you're going to go eat a Snickers, because some people like that. I'm allergic to peanuts, not in a deathly way, but I can't have them. But if you can, enjoy. Okay, your choice. Bye.